Macca's guides.
Hey everyone, Macca here, playing Call of Duty Cold War Zombies, and in this video I'm going to show you how to do the full Easter egg in the new free map Firebase Z. A quick warning before we get started is that you will need the wonder weapon, the Ray K84, at some point during this, so you can start spinning your mystery boxes doing trials, or I have a separate video on how you can assemble it. You will need it at some point though, so keep that in mind. At the very beginning, all we're going to want to do is talk to Ravenov, then pay your way through, go through the teleporter to the Firebase, and then turn on the power by activating all 3 reactors. I do have a separate video if you want some extra details though. After turning on the power, go through the teleporter back to the village, and then talk to Ravenov again. This little dialogue section does take a while, but just wait until it completes. It's also not a bad time to go up and do the little Easter egg to get yourself the free Juggernog perk as well as a free gun. After that's done though, head back to the Firebase and talk to PECK. PECK can be found inside of Mission Control on the bottom floor. You can spot him through the window and interact with him. This is another dialogue section that can take quite a long time, but just wait until it finishes. And now, yet again, head back to the village, where this time you can talk to Ravenov, and he will present you with a key card. This is kind of the item we've been trying to get this whole time. With your newly attained key card, we're going to have to open up 3 little storage lockers. The first one can be found inside of the village by the equipment storage, not far from where you buy the shotgun on the wall, the Gallo. Inside, once you open it up, make sure you grab the truth serum though. This is going to be one of the important items we need to do the full Easter egg. Now the second one can be found inside of the Colonel's office, so make sure you go and grab that one as well. This is by one of the reactors kind of on the far side from where we enter the Firebase. And the third locker can be found in engineering, not far from Mission Control, in a locker downstairs. At this point, you can take the 3 truth serums to the field hospital and interact with the centrifuge inside in order to begin mixing them. This will start a Hellhound round, which you need to take care of, and upon completing that round, you can pick up this item once this process is complete. This is the agent delivery system, and what we're going to want to do is, after grabbing it, go on top of the Mission Control building, and you can interact with a vent nearby to place it, which will pump the truth serum into PECK's office. Now at this point, you can go and talk to PECK because of the truth serum. He will reveal some details he wouldn't have otherwise, and he will tell you to go to the data center. So now you want to go to the data center, and if you run around the top near the computers, it should trigger a dialogue from PECK, which will then eventually open up this machine on the side where we can pick up some essence traps from as a yellow item. This will take up your support grenade slot. At this point in the guide, it's a good idea to start planning your Ray K84 or your wonder weapon, and there are a couple of different ways to get it. You can get lucky out of a mystery box. I would recommend doing a legendary trial, but because we're going to be doing a lot of rounds anyways, you can just successfully craft one. I have a separate video detailing the complete process to getting a guaranteed free wonder weapon in every run. I'll link it down below. Now the next official step is to begin sucking up mimics into those essence traps that we grabbed from the data center. What you have to do is you have to find a mimic that spawns from a pool of items off of the ground. You have to damage it to 10% or less health, then use this item on the ground like a C4 by throwing it and then double tapping a face button to make it explode. But in this case, the trap will actually suck up the mimic, and it needs to be under 10% health in order to stay inside the trap, or else it'll burst out and then break the trap, kind of wasting your time. Now you may as well try to suck up every mimic you come across, but the mimics we are specifically targeting are the ones that spawn from the ground disguised as a good item, and not the ones that spawn automatically during a round. Now when you successfully suck up a mimic, pick up the trap off the ground and go back to the data center to deliver it into the machine where we grabbed the trap. If done successfully, you should get some type of audio recording. You may get a data corrupted recording, which just means that we didn't get the right mimic. And you may get a data recording from a named person, but we are looking for 3 specific data recordings. And the 3 specific dialogue we need to trigger are from Brams, Zabim, and Sokolov. The best way to do this is to just get to the very end of a round with only one zombie, and at this point, just keep running around looking for suspicious items on the ground, like this area in the village, and the mimics should spawn. These mimics right here are your absolute best chance at getting the 3 recordings we need. These spawns also tend to refresh from round to round, so if you're really stuck, maybe you accidentally killed a mimic you needed, or the mimic ran away, just start the next round and try again. It is obviously good advice to try to keep the rounds as low as possible to make this as easy as possible, but sometimes we just don't have that choice. Once you have successfully gotten the codes for Brams, Zabim, and Sokolov, a floppy disk should spawn out of the machine, so we'll pick that up as the next step. You can now take this floppy disk and run to the planning offices to insert it into a computer, and this will open up the large dome just outside of this room. With the OPC now open, just run inside to spawn the little sphere in the middle, and then what we can do is come back down into mission control and talk to PECK. Once the conversation with PECK is done, you will be able to open up the locker just next to the window, so do that and you will get a new item.
He's certainly done right by us, that Ravenov.
Additionally, we will need a shovel, which can be found inside of the little bunkers next to the beach here, so we're going to pick up the shovel as well. At this point, we will need to find 3 unique Ethereum canisters on the map as a part of the objective. Things tend to get a little bit crazy here, so make sure you have a really good weapon and loadout. You can do them in any order, but the first one we'll go for is the one in the open lot. Walk around the open lot and listen for a beeping sound, and here you should be able to dig. This will cause a bunch of canisters to spawn, and we are going to look in every single one. And we are specifically looking for the canister that does not have any black smoke inside as an effect. There will only be one of these, and we will be picking it up. If you pick up the wrong one, you will fail this step and have to proceed to the next round, so try your best here. Now the next one you can go for is in the jungle defense area. Again, walk in and listen to the beeping to figure out where to dig. Here you'll find a canister, which will then place a bubble around you, and you basically need to stay alive and defend until all of the enemies are taken care of. As soon as you complete these rounds of enemies, you'll be able to pick up the second canister. The final canister will require you to have the Ray K84, and it will spawn near the barracks area. Find it and dig it up, and it will disappear. Now what we need to do is spot where this canister has went to, but don't approach it yet. Instead, press up on your D-pad to change the firing mode of your Ray K, and the secondary fire works like a grenade launcher, which actually slows down everything within the field. What we need to do is add a distance, shoot this canister, and we can then approach it and snatch it. If you approach it without using the Ray K secondary fire, it will disappear and you'll have to find it again. What we now want to do is overload the 3 reactors that we used to turn on power to the facility at the very beginning. So just go up to them and interact with them, and do this for all 3 of the reactors. There's not really much to this step, just make sure you stay alive and stay safe. After you do that and overload all 3 of the reactors, we can go back to that dome, which is the OPC. After waiting around in here for a fair bit of time, the dialogue will end and you'll be able to go into mission control. Wait a little bit of time in mission control and PECK will eventually begin talking again. This is kind of what we need to do for the next step to trigger. After this conversation ends, which can take a while, go to the planning offices just across. Now this next step can be a little bit tricky as there will be a zombie chasing you and you have to interact with a computer for a little bit of time. So try to get a downed zombie through a frag grenade if you can, but you want to interact with this computer and use the blue dot to scan the yellow dots on the screen. And what you want to do is find the yellow dot that has a question mark for its flag. And once you find this, align the satellite, and this will begin the process. At this point, the satellite will align and a bunch of red beams will shine through the sky. Get ready for a boss battle by getting things like perks, pack-a-punching your weapons, making sure you have armor and any type of assault weapons you want. So just get ready for a big fight. At this point, go back to the OPC, interact with the terminal, and you will be teleported to the final boss battle. Now, the boss fight happens in the village, which on its own is a pretty claustrophobic area, so watch out and make sure that you don't get cornered by a group of zombies or a mimic. The general idea for the boss battle is to stay alive and damage it over time, and just keep weakening it until it is done. Now, there are a few more tips. Make sure you're watching out for some of the very obvious attacks, as some of them can insta-kill you. The best thing to do here is to keep at a distance and watch out for any type of telegraphed attacks, like it slamming down or shooting a energy ball at you. You can shoot down that energy ball, by the way. If you do go down, as you just saw, there is a soda machine nearby, so make sure you fill your perks back up. Now, the other thing you want to keep in mind is that there will be a phase where the boss starts to ignite into flames, and during this phase, you should get around a 3 or 4 times damage multiplier, which will allow you to damage the boss a lot more quickly. This is where you want to focus on using all of your damage if you can. Monkey bombs can be pretty useful here to distract all of the zombies around you as you try to fully concentrate on the boss. Now, because you have the wonder weapon and you are near the Pack-a-Punch, this is probably the gun I would personally recommend. It does a massive amount of damage and lets you keep safe, but just keep damaging that boss until you completely end its life bar. And once that happens, you are pretty much done the Easter egg. A thank you goes out to AJ, aka Memedude, for capturing the footage used in this guide. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video is helpful. A super special thank you to everyone on Patreon for supporting the show. Drop a like, share the video with a friend, and hopefully I see you soon. Peace.